have your LinkedIn profile in the chat and where you're dialing in from. What prompted you or motivated you, sparked your interest to join us today? This, again, is an inclusive environment. We welcome he, she, and they. I believe in DEI, and I don't care if that's controversial. Inclusivity and belonging is always going to be at the heart of everything that we do. It's so nice to see some of you, and oh my gosh, I recognize faces here. Thank you, Ivy. All right, give me 1 second while I share my screen. And I don't think you want to see videos of me. I think you actually want to see the slides. Boom. Okay. Paco's dialing in from Michigan. I'm dialing in from Denver, Colorado. Adrian's also in Colorado. And we're just really happy to have you here today. This will be recorded for those of us who could not make it. I actually am here. For people who could not make it, Adrian it actually found her role with me by just being part of this community. I am a fractional talent officer, which means I do embedded work for companies. I just found a head of sales for a 17 million woman-owned business. I'm working on go-to-market and corporate and sales and finance. So that's part of what I do. The other part of what I do is I'm an executive coach, and I'm just got done with a 6-month program. I'm getting my PCC. And so I have the opportunity to build networks and really help end-to-end sourcing, hiring, acquisition, retention, engagement, and coaching of all talent. That is why my company is called Best You Talent Advisors. Adrian helps me with everything related to event planning. She is looking for a full-time role right now. Adrian, do you want to say anything?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Yes, I started attending Shelley's events about a year ago, and then about 8 months later, when she posted that she needed extra help, it was great that we had already established a relationship. So it really is all about who you know, showing up to events too and participating. But yes, I am looking for a full-time role. It's been great working a couple hours a week, but do need to fill in the other times with a full-time position. And I bring 10 years of recruitment experience as well as organization development as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. Okay. I do individual and group coaching, and I'm starting a pay as you can, as you go group this month. That means that you'll be joining a group that is mostly managers and above. But I realize that with all the government shutdown, the government layoffs, the SNAP, I mean, there's so much going on in our economy right now. Not only do we want to give back to the community through free webinars, I personally am holding group coaching sessions for people who want accountability. 2 live sessions. We just finished 2 groups with 12 people total, and the impact has been amazing. VP of marketing landing, head of HR landed, better strategies, accountability, less isolation, more impact with resume and LinkedIn, better networking. So if you are interested in that, please contact me. Again, it's pay as you can as you go. So there will be an agreement for you to come and be part of, but this truly is for helping as many people as we can through this really, really hard job market. Okay. We also, in the Denver area, are going to be supporting what's called Mutual Aid Mondays. So next Monday, November 10th, I'd love to invite this group to join Adrian and I at the Civic Center Park from 4 to 7 p.m. We come together to serve our neighbors. Please reach out to Adrian or me if you would love to come and volunteer. We'll be doing this next Monday, the 10th, and then also December 15th. It's also part of how we give back to our community. All right. if you are in the Denver area, I'm going to be speaking at the Project Management Institute, and it's about how to cultivate more wisdom and woo in your work. And that might feel like, wait, what? It's not all about the head. No, it's about how do you balance your head, your heart, and your soul into everything that you do, especially professionally. And I'm going to take you through a story that a universe bomb that I got last June while hiking at Rocky Mountain National Park. So the PMI Institute has invited me to come and talk. That will be a live event. There is a link that Adrian can put in there. I'm not sure what that is. Sorry. Okay, boom. We also are holding a Scale Your Career Day for all of those people who want 5 hours jam-packed of mental fitness, positive intelligence, time with LinkedIn and resume writers, an hour with 3 top recruiters that are hiring. I have a recruiting manager from Amazon. I have one of the top logistics and sales out of Michigan. And I don't think you know him, Paco, but I may have to do an introduction.
Sure.
We invite you to spend time with us on Thursday, December 4th. A lot more information coming out around that. I'm going to stop the slides in just a minute, and I'm going to turn it over to Paco. He and I are going to do a question and answer, but we really want to know what questions you have about franchising, about what is it? Why is it scary? Why does it have a bad rap, or does it? What's available? So Paco, I met Paco through another friend of mine who actually was a sponsor of Colorado Career Connectors. And Paco really took me through this whole process of discovery of who I am, because I want there to be legacy. I wanted to understand what franchising was all about. And it's still something I'm thinking about because it's part-time and full-time. I was shocked at how many opportunities. And so I said to Paco, I have to bring you to my community because people are wondering what life is like outside of corporate, for sure. All right, Paco. So let's start with one of the obvious ones. Tell us some of the stereotypes, Paco, around franchising and why people might not think of it as a first area to look at for life outside of corporate.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Paco. I am located in Michigan, like Shelly said, and I've been a career ownership coach for the past 8.5 years. Been doing this for quite some time, and I'm pretty sure that one of the questions that's going to be like, so how did you get in here? So I'm going to answer that question when that comes. But specifically, Shelly, when people think about franchising, they automatically think McDonald's, Subway, Chick-fil-A's, or something like that. Okay? And franchises is not, as a matter of fact, franchising in food like that, like those big restaurants, are only like 5 or 10% of the population of franchises are out there. The situation is that a lot of things that are around you, you don't even know it, but they're franchises. You know, maybe a coaching company is a franchise. Consultings, it could be beauty. You know, the places where you go cut your hair, where you take your dog, where you go and have maybe a couple of beers, or maybe there's a lot of things out there that are franchises. Because remember, the concept of franchising is not about just buying a franchise and buying a business and then you're good to go. No, 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 no. Franchises is about starting your own business, but not alone. That's the key element. Somebody already invented the wheel. Why do you want to invent the wheel? The wheel's already been invented. So the only thing that you need to figure out is, should I push that wheel or should I pull that wheel? So part of the conversations about franchising is about not what franchise is hot or what is the best thing out there or what is the gem that everybody, all the people are going to go, no, 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 no. You need to identify, who are you? What do you bring to the table? What are your goals? What are your needs? And then after you are able to identify what is it that you need, you want, then let's go and look for something out there. A franchise could be a possibility. Let's see what's out there so you can identify if you can do a good match. And that's what franchising is. Franchising is, I get it. You know, my business is called the Entrepreneur Source. We don't talk to entrepreneurs. We talk to people who wants to be self-sufficient. What does that mean? Self-sufficient is you want to start your own business, you just don't want to do it alone. And I'm not talking about a partner. No. I'm talking about a community that is going to do everything in their power to help you succeed. So you're here as an individual who wants to do something on your own. And then you have a franchisor who their whole purpose is to support you be successful. And then you have other franchisees that already bought into the idea of doing that business, who will do everything in their power to support you because you're already in the same boat. So franchising is so many things out there, but it's not what it's hot. No, it's what it's convenient for you. And that's where, you know, part of the conversations I have with all my clients who I ultimately become friends with, Chelly, you being an example, okay? That's where the concept of matching what type of companies or what type of franchises are out there so you can do ultimately something that you can enjoy and something that can be the right vehicle to take you to where you want to be.
I think that's so
So
important.
that's what franchising is all about.
I think that's so important. It really
No,
was.
go ahead.
As I went through like this whole process, I really discovered things about where do I want to focus. And I know that I love what I do, right? And but what other family members were interested in me? Paco, tell us how you got into this. Tell us your story.
Well, okay, so I was, as you can see here by the accent, you know, I was not born here in the United States. I was born and raised in Mexico. I know you cannot see me, you know, but I'm 6'2", 260, and look at me, you know, I'm almost transparent. But the funny thing about it is that I am from Mexico. I was born and raised there. And I always worked for big corporations in corporate America. Even though I was from Mexico, I lived in, you know, in Mexico, I lived in Latin America. I ran corporations in mainly manufacturing facilities in Europe. Some of them were located in China. So I did my American dream. But in 2010, I was heavily recruited to come to Michigan because they wanted me to run a manufacturing facility here in Michigan, automotive, obviously. And then I love what I did. And I mean, I loved it. It was so cool. The people that I worked for was awesome. It was a big corporation, but was family owned. So I'll say the grandfather, the grandson, and myself, we were the three legs of the stool. Everything went through my desk, and I enjoyed it so much until the grandfather decided to retire. 2015, the grandfather retired, the grandson became the president, which we already knew, but you know, became the president, and we couldn't stand each other. I lasted 6 months. And if you have seen those pictures when they say, "Oh, you get out of my office and I don't want to see you again," that was yours truly. So I lost my job. I want to say I quit that day, but I got fired on the spot. And then I started my own business because I wanted to do something on my own. I was tired of making other people rich. It was my time. So what did I know? I knew automotive. I knew manufacturing, run manufacturing facilities throughout the world. And I knew plastics. So I set up a manufacturing facility that did thermoforming plastics for the automotive industry here in Michigan. And I failed big time. Failed. I still have, I know you cannot see it, but I still have in my whiteboard here in my office the amount of money that I lost in 2016 because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, which it was $282,353. in 10 months. So like I saw a friend of mine right now posted in LinkedIn that I've been posting for, like, 6,000 people have been applying for the same job. That happened to me 8.5 years ago or 9 years ago. I was applying for jobs because I lost all my confidence of being a business owner because I failed, and I failed big time. And then I received a call. Hey, have you ever thought about doing something on your own? And I laugh. I said, like, you're crazy? Are you out of your mind? And that is when my wife said, what do you got to lose? We're just exploring. And that's when I realized that the person who was helping me was not interested in my background in manufacturing. As a matter of fact, it didn't even give a damn about the fact that
Yeah.
I failed. He only cared about, how do you see yourself in the future? What is it that you want to do? And at that time, the only thing that I wanted to do is, want to be able to have not lunch, breakfast with my kids on a Saturday. I didn't want to go to the job on Sunday. I want to be able to say, it's 6 o'clock, I'm done. Okay. And obviously, because I am from a beach resort area in the Pacific in Mexico, I wanted to be able to move there and work from there because, for the people that know, Michigan in the winter sucks to live here. Okay. So I wanted to be able to become that snowbird. And we found the Entrepreneur Source. The Entrepreneur Source is a franchise. It's not my business. It's a franchise. And as a matter of fact, if you put attention, some of the people that are in this meeting are from the Entrepreneur Source. We are supporting each other so we can all succeed. So we are learning. They're learning from me today, and tomorrow I'm going to be learning from them on how we can make our business better. But we're all franchisees. So as you can see, there's so many options, and that's how we started March 1st of 2026 is going to be 9 years of me doing this, and I love it. If you see a little bit of my excitement, it's because I love what I do.
Paco, how many hours a week do you work?
Well, and funny you mentioned that because you do know that I keep track of how many hours I work, and I work 29.2 hours a week.
And he's doing quite well. So, Paco, what are the biggest misconceptions that people have about franchising, and how do you help them see the reality?
One of the biggest is that I have to do something that I am passionate about, or I have to do something that I know how to do. Huge misconception. Let's talk about passion. How are you going to fall in love with something that you actually don't know what that is? Oh, I got to feel passionate. Well, you know how I feel my passion when I go to my bank statement, I go like, oh, yeah, I'm passionate about what I do. But the reality is, if you enjoy what you do, if you have the lifestyle that you want to have, that's going to bring income. That's going to bring money. And if you bring income, that's going to bring wealth and equity. And once you have all those four things, you're going to feel passionate about what you do. So the passion comes after, not before. And the other misconception, Shelley, is that when you want to do something that you really know, well, if you buy a franchise, you're gonna buy a methodology. You're gonna buy a recipe. Well, follow the recipe. But if you know too much about it, you're gonna say, no, that doesn't work here in Michigan. No, that doesn't work in Colorado. No, I've been doing this for 10 years. You're not gonna teach me. Then why the hell did you buy a franchise? Okay, so you are your worst enemy. So the key element is you need to concentrate, or what the positive thing about that term of not doing what you really know is, what are you good at? What are your skills? Are you good in you're good in leadership? Oh, even with the thumbs up, are you good in leadership? Are you good in management? Are you good with your hands? Do you like dogs? Do you have small kids? Those little things is the skills that you have developed throughout your life, the things that you have learned throughout your life. There are a lot of people that have never managed a person. Well, don't start a business where you have to manage 30 people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that is where your skills come into place. And maybe your next business is a business that fixes floors. But Paco, I don't know nothing about fixing a floor. Perfect. Because now you're going to concentrate on managing the people that do that. And you're going to follow the system that, by the way, the people that follow the system in that business are making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. So can you please follow the system? And by the way, you don't have to follow the system all 100% of the time. Follow it for 6 months while you learn it, and then tweak it. Tweak it. Make it your own. Sound like yourself. And that's what's going to make you a very successful business owner in a franchise.
Mhm. So a lot of the people that I talk to are so burnt out. They're worried about the economy. They see the job market headlines. What usually inspires someone to start exploring franchise ownership?
Well, I'm going to answer that question in two ways. First of all, those people that are burnt out or that the economy this year, if you put a dot in every year, you're going to find a problem in that year.
Mm-hmm.
2008, COVID. Are you crazy? Okay. And every year something has happened. Maybe you are from the, if you're a Republican, maybe you are, the Democrats one. The Democrats, so you're never going to be 100% happy every year. It just doesn't happen. The situation is franchisees and business owners still happen every year, in every single year, because it doesn't matter what happened with the economy. It doesn't matter. There's not a perfect time to start something new. There's never perfect. So if you're looking for perfection, you're going to stay where you are forever. Now, if you're looking to explore other possibilities that can take you to where you want to be, that's where you become a franchisee, or that's where you become a business owner. When you are willing to do the study of the things that are in front of you, so when it's time for you to take that step and become a franchisee, the step is not that big. Or at least you know that if you're going to throw yourself into the abysm, I don't know if that's the right word. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that one. Okay, you know that there's a net down there. So it doesn't matter what happens with the economy. It doesn't matter who's the president. It doesn't matter if you're in COVID. I have helped people since 2017. Well, I have, put maybe 100, a little bit over 100 of people became business owners with my services in 2020, 2021, and 2022. I put a lot of people as a business owners because they were tired of corporate America. They were tired of the nonsense of being able to work for somebody else's dreams. I know I'm very small. I know that, the square that I am is very small, but a lot of people cannot see this. So I'm going to read it. If you don't build your own dreams, someone else will hire you to build theirs. There it is.
How many of us can relate to that? I mean, I started my business 6 years ago and I had no business plan, and just this community has impacted successfully 6,000 people. I mean, who knew, right? Okay, I'm seeing some questions in the chat about risk and how do you safely and find safety and stability in this kind of work?
Okay.
Let's start with that one.
So everything is going to be risky.
Accepting a new job is risky because you don't know what's going to happen.
Anything that you do is risky, even staying where you are.
Yeah.
I always get, Chili, the concept of, well, I am happy with my paycheck. then why the hell are you talking to me? Well, it's just because I am not happy with my paycheck. Oh, there you go. Okay, so there it is. And a lot of people lose their jobs because I'm going to give you an example. My son, 25 years old, got a phenomenal job in Pfizer in New York. He was making money. On a Monday, they said, guys, tomorrow the whole department meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. Tuesday. Okay. Everybody arrived at 8 a.m. All the department gone. All the department gone. My son, 25 years old, top of his class. New York. And then he said to me at 25 years old, Dad, I'm tired of corporate America.
So tell everybody what he's doing now.
It's funny you mentioned that. 2 weeks ago, he started his own franchise. He makes shirts and hats and things like that. By the way, this shirt that I'm wearing, he made it for me. Okay, so
Awesome.
So it's pretty cool. But one of the things that question mentioned is, how do we value that risk?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the key. Every time that you start something new, you go through a roller coaster of emotions. Those roller coaster of emotions create fear. What's fear? The false evidence appearing real. We think in our minds and in our hearts that that thing that we're doing is crazy risky. I always like to use this example. Remember, guys, everybody that is here, remember when we were young and we knew that there was a monster under our bed? Remember that. And if you don't, well, then the monster was not in the bed, it was in the closet. But there was a monster out there. Until when? Until we decided to, kind of like, okay, I'm going to go for it. And we looked down and we figured out that there was nothing there. And after that, what happened? Nothing. We were able to go to sleep without the light. We were able to sleep alone. We were able to grow. The same thing is with this. You have to do the process. You have to do the journey. We call it journey of discovery. That's a very fancy word to say, can we do our freaking research, please? And once you do the research, you will be able to identify that, there's not a monster under our bed. So that translating to something that is called knowledge. So it's a pyramid. So the more you know, the easier the choice becomes. So what you want to do when you start doing this research is don't go to the internet. Don't go like say, is there a franchise out there? Oh my God, you're going to get bombarded because there's thousands of franchises out there. Get help. Forget about me. Who cares? If you want to use my services, perfect. I'll be more than happy. By the way, I don't charge a dime for your services. Okay, I'm not a church. I do make a boatload of money. But the reality of all of this is what happens is the more you research, the more you learn, you will identify a business ownership and a franchise is a good fit for you. And if it's not, then let it go. And if it is, then become a franchisee. As simple as that.
It really is as simple as that. What I've heard you talk about are if you're interested in exploring something different, you have to have an open mind and be willing and not be stuck in, well, I've always done this in this industry. In fact, that can be crippling because it doesn't allow you to learn as quickly or be as psychologically relevant with what the universe might bring. And I know I'm using that word from a woo-woo perspective. So you were talking about fear before. Can you share a story of a client of yours who overcame fear or uncertainty and found the right fit?
Well, there are a lot because everybody feels fear at the beginning. So a lot of them come to mind. And if you notice, I'm not scripted. So I'm, based on the question I answer, whatever is coming to my heart or to my mind. But there was one client of mine who, well, to start a business, you need a little bit of money. And that's a question that hasn't come up. So how much money do I
Oh,
need?
it has, and we'll
Okay.
get there.
All right. So she lived in Alabama. One of the nicest ladies that I have ever met. She was 65 years old. So, I'm 58. So we're like in the other side already. And she couldn't find a job. She had a 510, 510 credit score and didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Starting a business like that is crazy. So her fear was so high that she couldn't see that there was a possibility. And that possibility translated into, let's fix your credit score first. We didn't look into businesses after maybe 6 months after. Let's fix your credit score. And the only thing that I wanted from her is show up. If we agree to talk this day, be there. Every single time. Until she became a business owner, she was always there. And she was always asking questions. So put her in touch with somebody that can help her with some credit scores, fixing her credit cards, things like that. Her credit scores started going up. And when you need to be like 700 credit score around. So when she was about 660, 670, and she know that she was on the path to getting the right location, I introduced her to a funding partner. The funding partner told me, nope, she cannot get funding because she's not 700 this credit score. I go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you see how she's been? And I go, oh, then I started working with her. So if you notice, time and effort and learning and learning and learning is what makes that fear starts going down.
Mm-hmm.
Then I present her businesses. We evaluated about 4 or 5 businesses. And she ended up doing a business that helps individuals find jobs in the market of what is it called? In the market that like restaurants and casinos and things like that. Okay, and I talked to her about 2 or 3 months ago, and she's happy, very happy doing that. Is she making $500,000 a year? No, but she's making 100 in Alabama. Whew. And now she's 67 now. At 67, I'm happy. She's happy. I went to visit her in person because I wanted to give her a hug. Okay, and I did. I flew out down there and give her a hug. And when people talk to you and say, thank you for changing my life, what else do you want? So she overcame everything, not only fear, but fear,
Nice.
money. Uh, uh, I'm very proud of her. Let's put it that way.
That's awesome. So let's dig into that a little bit. There's an assumption that it costs an exorbitant amount of money to buy a franchise. Can you kind of take us through what that actually looks like?
Sure. So the answer to that question is, yeah, if you want to buy a McDonald's, it was going to cost you $1.2 million and you need to commit to 10. So the idea is, oh, I'm going to have a McDonald's. You better have work in a corporation because that's who owns McDonald's now. Okay. Or to be able to make a lot of money in Subway, you need like 6. Okay. So ultimately, how much does a franchise cost? Obviously, there are franchises that cost $30,000, $40,000, and there are franchises that cost millions of dollars, depending what you want to do. In my world, my clients land in what I like to call a soft spot. That soft spot, it's about 65, 70,000 all the way to 150,000, 160,000.
Mm-hmm.
In my 8 years of doing this and helping so many people, I think that only 1 or 2 people have gone, oh, let me give you a check for 70,000. No, that doesn't happen. It's just nobody writes a check for $70,000. Well, there are some people, but not mortals like us. Okay. So what happens is there's a lot of ways to fund a business that the regular population doesn't know. Okay, for example, a lot of people that have a very strong 401k or IRA. Yeah, but I'm 50 years old. I cannot access that 401k. Well, do you know that there's an option for you to, to grab that 401k without paying penalties or taxes? No, I didn't know that. Okay, so let's get informed. Let's see how it works. And the funny thing is, I'm not going to touch my retirement. No, 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 no. You're actually not touching your retirement. Instead of investing it in the market, which, how did 2008 go? Okay. Invest it in your own business, something that you can control. So you grab and you put a little bit of money here and a little bit of money here, that you learn how to fund the business, that you are in control, not the market. Number two, typical, this one everybody kind of knows, that's the SBA, or Small Business Administration loan, where you get a pretty good rate and they fund you for 10 years. There is a loan that is very convenient. For example, $150,000 and you only put like 15% down. That's amazing. You can start a business with a little bit of money, and then you pay it whenever you want. For example, one of the SBAs that I got, I paid it in less than 7 years, and I had a 10-year term. So that works. With the increase of the cost of the homes, you have equity in the homes. Maybe you want to start a business with home equity. But what I want to say with all of this, Shelly, is that you don't need to invest millions of dollars to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. You don't. You can scale that business. Scale it. You might start like this, but if you buy 2 territories, then you do, and you can double your income. If you buy 3, you can potentially triple your income.
Are franchises a good investment?
It depends. What do you want? Because there are some clients that will not work in the franchise, for example. You can keep your job, okay? Well, then you take that as an investment. But that means that you're going to invest and forget about it? No. That doesn't exist, okay? Well, it does exist, but I don't recommend it. You have to be a little bit involved in the business to make it your own. So
Paco,
there's
are you saying that people can work full-time and still have a franchise?
Oh my God, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There are businesses that are specialized on that.
What are they?
Well, there's a lot of options. One that comes to mind, hair salons. You don't need to be there. Office locations. You don't need to be in the office. There's some other business that a manager can run for you. Okay, and that business fixes. It's an electrical business.
I
You
think I
cannot
got
do it
us off on a
like in a business
tangent.
like mine, for example, Chili. Not in a business like mine. Like mine, you need to be all in. But they are called semi-absentees business. But then a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want to quit my job because I don't." Yeah, but if you don't quit your job, then the opportunity for the business to grow at the rate that you want, you don't have it. So let's explore the possibility. Let's see if you can do it. Let's see if the loan can help you prepare yourself throughout the ramp up, so you don't have to be worried about having a business or having an income or not. The same loan is going to give you the income while you're ramping up the business. All of that is part of the conversations. But to answer your question directly, absolutely. There are businesses that you don't have to quit your job. As a matter of fact, there are businesses that the franchisor will say, please don't quit your job. Let's talk in 3 years.
Interesting. One of the questions is, does each franchise come with crippling limitations imposed by the parent franchise?
Wow. Crippling? What does that mean? I really would like to hear what that means so I can answer properly. Who asked that question, Mike?
So that came from me, and
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. And I just happened to know someone who had a franchise. It was a fast food franchise, And they said that that's what drove them out of business was the crippling limitations of the parent franchise.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. And wait, I don't know if you notice my face when you say that food, kind of like, that's why. Okay. There's a reason.
Okay.
There are, and I'm gonna explain this as a freeway. Okay? As a freeway. It feels like I'm throwing a lot of garbage to McDonald's, but they are a great example. Okay, that's why I'm using them, even though McDonald's is a great business. But in a McDonald's, that is a two-way street. Two-way street. If you're missing a little bit of ketchup, it's not a McDonald's anymore. Make sense? So they're very strict in what can or you cannot do.
Right.
You cannot come out with a new burger. That's impossible. Okay, it's just not. So what you do is you become an operator of the franchise. Yeah, you're an owner, but you become just an operator. That's all you are. Okay. The vast majority of the franchises, they are a six-lane freeway. There's a lot of wiggle room. For example, right now here, there's some coaches that do the same thing. Do you really believe that they move their hands the same way as I do? Or that they talk the same way as no, but we all kind of follow the same methodology. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of wiggle for you to make that business your own. And part of the research that you have to do on the franchise or why you should be using somebody that understands what this means is so you can identify how strict or how wide that franchise is. Don't get me wrong, Lisa, there are some franchises that are so wide that, no, they don't look like a franchise. They're so wide that you can do whatever you want. No, there has to be a methodology. There has to be a proven methodology. Proven. So, for example, there are franchises that are brand new. They started in 2024. There's not a lot of franchisees. There's not a proven methodology. Well, but they happen to be under an umbrella of a huge franchisor that they've been doing that for 40 years. And that's not that bad. Okay. But if you want to start out, for example, there are also people just like you and me, Lisa, that they want to really be the business owner. They want their voice to be heard, not talk to hundreds of franchisees. They want to talk directly to the owner. Well, if they want to do that, they need to start in a franchise that is kind of new, that their methodology is not 100%. They are going to be the ones who are going to help the franchisor become a franchise. I have a client of mine who became a business owner with a franchise that trains dogs. I have no freaking idea how to train a dog. Okay, but I love dogs, but I just cannot train them. But that lady, she was in Tucson, by the way. In Tucson, she wanted to be the kind of like the general manager of that franchise. So she became a franchisee, but thanks to the great connection that she has with the franchisor, she's right now she's involved in the board of directors, even though she's a franchisee. So it's not about the franchise. Everybody wants to know what the franchise is. Everybody concentrates in the vehicle, when in reality, Lisa, you need to be concentrating on your goals.
That's it.
The franchise is your vehicle. The money that franchise is going to cost you is the gasoline or the electricity if you want to go EV. Okay. But the reality is, what are your goals? And if you're able to identify where you want to go, then let's figure out which vehicle is going to take you there.
And to what extent you want to be involved in operations. Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. You hit it right in the nail. Great question. I'm happy you explained it because I might have said something different, but great question.
So Paco, we have two more questions and we're almost like we have 10 minutes. Um, can you tell us about the most popular franchises, maybe some that are AI and recession proof?
No, there are no popular franchises. Again, it goes back to the same explanation that I talked to Lisa about.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to start a popular franchise because it's popular, number one, you're late. You're late. If it's popular, you're late. You're late to the game because everybody has that franchise now. Okay. So again, you need to concentrate on what is it that you want. Okay. So you can now you mentioned, okay, there is I really don't want, I want to have an AI proof franchise. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
The company that fixes that the company that changed my floors, which happens to be a franchise, AI cannot change a floor.
Mm-hmm. The pet care company, the vet company, the senior care company, the aging tech companies.
Shelly, you want to know what the number 1, 2, and 3 company industries are out there? You want to
Please.
know?
Yeah.
That they are not only recession resistant, because before the pandemic, there were recession resistant type of businesses. Everybody knew it, okay? But then the pandemic hit and some of them went, but some of them started growing. And after the pandemic, they're still growing. Number 1 industry, number 1 in the United States, fixing and remodeling. Floors,
Painting.
paint rooms, they're going to keep growing. Number 2, dogs. It's not technology. It's not technology. Technology is really good for Instagram. When you see, if you go and you buy this shirt and you print it, you can make $1 million investing $1,000. No, that's
Sign
not
me
going to work.
up.
Okay, sign
I'm
me
there
up.
with
Okay,
you,
so that's not how it
right?
works. And
And what's the
honestly,
third one?
yeah, the third one is kids. Kids, like not
Yeah,
babies,
baby
kids.
care or
Kids or companies that for after school
after
or
school.
company,
Okay.
yeah, or for example, there's one very popular that teaches kids how to swim or how to survive, things like that. Those
Okay.
businesses. Number 4, elder care. Man, we're getting old.
Awesome.
We're getting old. Okay, and there's a lot of industries out there. Are a lot of businesses in those industries that if you get in, you're gonna like it. But is elder care a good fit for Ivy? I'm sorry that I use you, Ivy, because I have you right in front of me. Okay. Is it the good fit for George? I don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
What are your skills? What is it that you want? Do you
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to be virtual? Do you want to have my son, Dad? I want something that I can call my own. I bought it, but he wanted to call himself own. So the businesses that my son looked at, all of them brick and mortar,
Mm-hmm.
brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm. For my own discovery, I was like, there's brick and mortar, there's virtual, there's elder care, there's like all these different. The most fun about that was, first of all, like you show up and this is how you are. You're like, if you're not interested, okay, that's cool. But do you have this exploratory curiosity to see what might be? And what can you learn through that curiosity? So Ivy actually asked, how do you learn about what franchises currently exist aside from the usual ones mentioned? And how can they learn more about those that might resonate with you?
So the first thing is, for example, in my portfolio, there's over 250 franchises from 51 different industries. So are all the franchises in my portfolio? No. Are the vast majority of the industries in my portfolio? Yes. So what I like to learn is, how do you want to live? Ivy, you asked that question. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to make a lot of money. Really? Do you only want to make a lot of money? Or you want to spend more time with your loved ones? Or you want to travel? Or you want to, for example, my goal for this year, Ivy, travel, obviously outside Michigan, and my travels are out of the United States a lot of times, every single month of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Every single month of the year, I'm going to travel in 2025. Now, in 2026, there's going to be another one. I'm working on it right now. And 2024 was to make a shitload of money. Okay. So it depends. Okay. It depends. So the difference with this side is, what is it that you want? And then let's find that business that makes sense for you. Do I have all of them? Well, the answer is no. There's some clients that come to me and say, hey, you know, I was looking into this franchise. And let's just pretend that I don't have that franchise. Or even if I have it, I will ask, why? Why? Well, a friend of mine owns it and he makes a lot of money. Pfft, no, that's not the right reason. Let's see what's your reason to explore franchising. And then maybe we can look at that one. Maybe we can look at other ones. Doesn't matter. It's like dating, Ivy. It's like dating. Hey, I'm going to show you 3 or 4. You're not going to get married on your first date. Okay? But you're going to go for a coffee, and then you're going to go for lunch. Okay? And that's the learning of the franchise. And then you're going to start eliminating businesses, but you're going to start liking other ones, and until you're ready to get married. No, thank you. So that's what this is all about. It's all about exploring.
Last October, I sent a friend of mine who also did what Paco does a note that, you know, AI is coming fast. I don't know what's happening with recruitment, lots of layoffs. I want something recession proof. Last October. And she's like, great, I have the perfect person for you to meet. Paco and I didn't start talking until June.
Correct.
Because I got a contract.
Mhm.
I built my business. I went to school. I'm taking AI classes. But I just kept thinking about, I've built my own business. It's done really well. What's next? How do I look into that? How do I even know? And I started exploring some things, and I do see, especially in Colorado, the silver tsunami coming. So I started exploring elder care. I started exploring dogs, and like I started exploring different things, and I got to understand what it would be in order to do something different. And it was a beautiful exploration. And when I thought I was done, like future events appearing real or F everything and run, Paco just talked to me. He's like, okay, what are you scared of? What are your goals? It was like he was my coach in my own business. And I told him ultimately, I'm not interested in moving forward with that. He's like, okay, cool. How do we build a friendship? It was like completely on my terms, my timing, no pressure at all. And so I was like, you have to talk to my group. So that's how we got here today. And I have a slide up. This is how you get in touch with him. He was recommended by a very good friend of mine who she's like, we're too close. I can't do this for you. And so she's like, and also I speak fluent Spanish. And so Paco and I hit it off. And so what other questions do we have from the audience? If any, we've got like 2 minutes. What I want to reiterate is I went in with the assumption that, oh my God, I'm going to have to like take out all my equity. And I mean, scared. Am I that risk adverse? What am I willing to do risk wise? It got us into conversations with my husband and, you know, even my stepfather, who's a master of taxation and a CPA, right? Of what is possible. So it created some really, really good questions. All right, awesome. We're getting a lot of thank yous. So please reach out to Paco. I can vouch for him. He will not waste your time. He's a great coach. He will meet you where you are. And there's really no pressure. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's cool too. So our focus here at Colorado Career Connectors, which is now Best You Career Connectors, is to just bring you information that you might not have had previously. We will be continuing December 4th with a 5-hour Scale Your Career Day. If you are interested in anything about your next gig, anything outside of franchising, that's where I will coach you. Anything with franchising, Paco will be happy to do that, and I highly recommend him. Thanks for joining us today. Paco, any final comments from you?
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you very much, Shelly, all the participants. And if you need anything, you know where to find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been recorded. Thank you. Ivy, it's good to see you as well. And Kristen and everyone, we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.